Welcome to Movement and Talisa. I am Talisa. In today's class, we are working on side splits. We're going to be working on some preparatory stretches, some strengthening so that we have strength in the end range because that's just as important as being flexible. And then we're going to work on the mechanics of the actual side split because there is some technique involved. It's not all flexibility. Today, we will most likely need blocks. You can use a stack of books if you don't have actual yoga blocks. And if you want to really amplify the strength portion of this, have some ankle weights, but they are not necessary. We're going to get started with stretching and then some strength. So come to meet me in a seated position. We're getting started with a butterfly. We can use these little ankle weights. If you have little dumbbells and you want to get an even deeper stretch, you can bring some weight into these movements as well. So I'm going to have these close by just to demonstrate how we use them. But for now, we're starting with just the soles of our feet together. I grew up dancing, and this was a stretch we always did. And I've never understood, maybe I should actually do some research into this, but I was always told don't hold your toes. I don't know why, if there's anything actually important about that, but it's ingrained in me and it's a rule that I like. So don't hold your toes. I don't know why. I know the why behind a lot of other things, but not that one. But we're not gonna hold our toes. We're gonna hold our feet, or you can bring your hands onto your knees and gently push down on them. Now, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I can feel it. My left side is a little bit more flexible in this stretch, which is curious because usually it's my right side, but my calf, I can push it down with relative ease, but on this side, there's a little bit more tension that I'm working against, so I don't want to force it, but even if I'm pushing down, like I feel like my calf still isn't touching. Like there, it's touching, it's not painful, it's just a lot more tight. So just noticing any imbalances in your body and recognizing which side for you might be a little bit more open or tight, or if you're relatively balanced. So knowing that my right side in this stretch is a little bit more tight, I'm just going to put a little bit more focus on that side. As you can see, I am leaning into this side to help push it down and just coax the leg open. I'm not forcing anything. I am working with myself. You can hear I'm still able to talk and therefore breathe through this. So there's no red flag pain. I'm not forcing it to a point where I'm, because when we force ourselves too deep into some of these more intense stretches, it makes our minds and our bodies go into panic mode, and we're ingraining in ourselves that this is a dangerous pose because we had these reactions to it, like the holding our breath and mind panicking. So we don't want to teach our bodies that, because our bodies will resist the stretch and become more closed off to it. We want to remain calm, therefore only coming to a point where we can still breathe. If we are testing our limits and we come to a point where it gets way more intense, we simply ease out of it a little bit rather than panicking and fleeing out of the pose. That's my little spiel on that. So we're still gently pushing down on the knees, pulling the chest through. So think of when we're in our yoga class and we're doing cat and cow. So the cow shape is when the spine is curving this way. We're not rounding through the spine, we're arching through the spine. I don't know if that even works. They could be interchangeable, but you know what I mean. We're trying to pull our chest forward, anterior pelvic tilt. So you're tilting your pelvis forward. Picture your pelvis like a bowl. You're tilting the bowl forward, so you're sticking your butt out. Some people also call it sexy bum versus unsexy bum. So we want sexy bum here, pull the chest forward, making that cow shape with our spine, pulling our chest forward. Because what a lot of people do in stretching, I'm just turning to the side here. Oh, this is gonna be a class where I'm just going on and on and on, so I'm sorry if you hate that. This isn't a yoga flow close, this is a mechanics and all the not fun, boring stuff that people don't seem to want to learn behind stretching, but this is what's important to actually become effective in your stretching and get further with it, rather than just going through the movements, not realizing what we're doing wrong. So what a lot of people do in any stretch that's forward folding, legs can be straight, it can be straddle, it can be a butterfly, is people round. They get that cat spine, which is great for stretching out the spine. It can feel really nice, especially when you tuck the chin. You can really feel the nerves getting stretched out as well. Great stretch. but that's not what we're trying to work on right now. So what we want to do is pull through to get that cow shape. And I think this can be hard for people because if you're really tight, you can't, when you simply sitting down, you can't sit up straight. You're so tight that you can't sit up straight. So people just settle with that. But there are remedies to it. You can heighten the hips, and then you're actually able to get that cow shape with the spine. So if you find that sitting all the way on the ground, you're rounding through the spine and it's really hard to straighten out, elevate the hips. For any of those forward fold stretches where we're trying to stretch the backs of the legs or the groin or sitting up straight, elevate the hips. All right, so now that you get that, let's bring a little bit of weight into this stretch. So you can just push on the legs, like that's using weight. You can put little dumbbells, the ankle weights on, cow through your spine. And then if you're able to, if you've got more range of motion, start leading forward with your chest. Again, very important, not our face, because then that's bringing that cat spine into the mix, which we don't want. We want to lead with our chest. Take the ego out of it. We're not going to be able to come down as low. I think what's also nice about rounding through the spine is look at how low it seems like I'm going. But again, we're not optimizing the stretch. So ego out the door, lead with your chest, and just work with where you're at and don't worry about what it looks like. Because anyone who knows anything about stretching knows that if you're doing this, it's kind of a cheat. So it's not even that impressive to look at. Come out of it. You can take the weights off. Just relax the muscles. We're going to do 2 rounds of all these stretches. The first round is almost like the warm-up round, and the second round it's like, all right, your body's ready for it, so let's get serious. All right, second round, using weights, just your hands. Maybe your hips are elevated and all you're doing is working on bringing that cow shape, because that's enough for you. Whatever your level is, let's just hold it for a bit. If you're doing any pulsing motions, I really like this. Pulsing or gets a bad rep because people more so bounce and use too much momentum. So I like to use the word pulse rather than bounce because it makes it sound a little bit more controlled. The bottom line is however you describe it, pulse, bounce, flutter, I don't know. It just has to be slow and controlled, okay? It's not momentum and going crazy. It's being very mindful, working still within your range, not forcing it and flinging yourself forward. Just gentle movement, gentle pulses. Just a little bit longer here. And slowly release. I really feel that in my outer glutes, so the gluteus minimus and medius. Gently recline back, just a gentle windshield wiper just to counteract that. Well, any stretch can be intense if you make it intense and hold it for a long while as well. So just relieving the body of that, being gentle and kind to ourselves. Let's now come to our next stretch. It's going to be a half side split. So what we're doing is coming to a tabletop position, extend one leg out to the side. I'm starting with my right leg. And this might be enough for you. You might feel enough in the adductor, that groin area there. I like to plant my foot down, but see what works for you. If that's horribly uncomfortable for you, maybe your toe is pointing up, maybe your foot's more at a 45-degree angle. Play around with it and see what works for you. Again, we just don't want any supreme discomfort or red flag pain. Of course, any intense stretch is gonna be a little bit uncomfortable. Just make sure you learn the difference between stretching discomfort and red flag pain. If you're able to sit the hips back, then do so. Maybe it's just a little bit, maybe it's all the way. Try lowering the chest down, lifting it up. Work into different ranges as well. Angle yourself in, lower and lift. We've got muscles all around our legs, so just moving in one range only works certain muscles, whereas if you slightly alter angles, it's going to slightly alter the stretch. Like I personally feel more of a stretch coming in here but that might be too much for you. So again, make this practice your own. Play around with micro adjustments, and I say micro adjustments for the same reason with the slow controlled pulses. We don't want to make any, when we're in a stretch, any big major adjustments because we're in an intense vulnerable position. So we make micro adjustments, and if we have to find we have to make a really big adjustment, then we come out of the stretch first, do whatever we need to do to shift around, then come back into it, and once we're back into it, making those micro adjustments. So we're just hanging out here, gently, slowly exploring different ranges and angles of the stretch. Let's come out of that side slowly. We take the time to slowly open up and lengthen the muscle. So when we come out of it, the muscle has to come back to its normal resting point, and we don't need to rush that. Since we don't rush the lengthening, we're not going to rush the coming back to its regular length. Other side, and then we'll do each side one more time. So get set up. Play around with lowering the chest and lifting the chest, moving the angle of your upper body. So while we're holding this, you can choose to, again, kind of move side to side, up and down, or if you find a point that feels really good, like for me, this right here feels so nice, so you can find a static hold for a little bit. Just a little bit more here. And then slowly, gently, not rushing, working our way back to the other side. So same thing. Maybe it's all you can do to just kind of get into it and hold it. So you just stay there. If you've got a little bit more freedom, then explore, or just go to your favorite point if you already know where that is. Again, round two, our bodies kind of are prepped for what we're doing, might be a little more open and receptive to it. So see if you can take it a little bit more to your edge without forcing anything. Still thinking about here that cow shape with the spine. Slowly come out of that side to the other side. So you can see as I'm coming down, I'm not rounding here, keeping the chest leading the movements. Two more rounds of breath wherever you are, stillness or movement. Slowly come out. If you really feel that along the inside of the knee, it's because one of these adductor muscles does come down and connect around the knee. So that can be really intense. Moves like that butterfly move with the bent knees takes that one specific muscle out of the mix so that you're able to better stretch the other adductors. So that's why it's nice to get a little bit of a range without going so buck wild with our stretches that we're doing 8 zillion different things and never actually seeing any progress. Our next stretch, is going to be a straddle stretch. So similar to a side split, except the biomechanics are different because we're not as much in line. My legs, I like to do a pretty wide straddle, but even at my widest point, like this would be my legs straight out to the side, which is what we're more so aiming for with our side split. So come into your straddle, however wide your straddle is. If it's a very narrow V, then that's fine. And again, if you're sitting down and you find that you're in that cat shape, rounded spine, and you can't bring yourself to sit up straight or get that anterior pelvic tilt, that means you need to elevate your hips. Pillows, blocks, whatever it is, lift up your hips to a point where you can sit upright and get a little bit of that cow shape. As you're pulling your chest through, you can see like the legs want to rotate a little bit, so see if you can actively try to pull the knees out as you're coming into that cow shape with your upper body. If you're staying right here because this is enough, then stay right here. Otherwise, you can explore. I really like to zigzag my way down because again, it just kind of works into different regions of the legs. You get a little bit more of an intense stretch depending on what side you're going to. So I like zigzagging my way down. Find your depth. Make sure you can breathe. We're just going to hold this one for a couple rounds of breath. Slowly make our way up and do another round. When you come to your depth, see if you can use the glute muscles to try to point the knees up, facing more towards the ceiling as best as you can. So there's some strength going on back here as there's that intense stretch going on in the adductor groin area. When we're coming forward too, something I love doing if you've got this range of motion is, since we're trying to keep that cow shape and we don't want to, bringing the head down, it might cause your spine to round a little bit. So one way you can counteract that is using your fists or maybe a pillow or something else, a block, and then resting your forehead on it so that your head's a little bit lifted, and then you can think about bringing your chest down while you're not straining your neck to keep it up, but it's resting without bringing that curvature into your spine that we're trying to avoid. All right, wherever you are, slowly start coming out. Slowly, 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 deep breathing, keeping everything calm, not flinging out so that we're not training our bodies. That was bad and dangerous, because it's going to make the stretch harder. Keeping everything calm so that for the second set, the body's like, yeah, I got this. I know what we're doing. Wiggle out the legs a little bit if you need to, or if you're ready to get right back into it, then let's go. It's not a race to get to our depth. Just feel it. Be curious about different ranges. Always welcome to keep some dynamic movement, gentle, controlled pulsing in this, because I know too, for a lot of people, these longer holds can be very boring. So just to keep things interesting, maybe the whole time you're doing some sort of gentle pulse or movement. Arms can be wherever, however you want them, or if you do like the stillness, finding your stillness, or doing both. And slowly coming out. I think we'll keep it at those 3 stretches for our stretching portion. When I'm coming out of this, I like to just really gently, gingerly work my legs in. That's like one of the most extreme stretches. So this one I like to be very gentle as I let those muscles come back to their regular length. Just notice how it feels. It's such a different sensation after a big stretch like that. We're gonna do a couple strengthening movements now before we get into the actual side split. Come back to hands and knees, because we're gonna start by working on the gluteus medius and minimus. So they're the smaller side glute muscles. So from a tabletop position, let's start with right side again. So keeping the leg bent, we're extending the leg up and down. Let's do 5 of these. 2. Keep the knee right out to the side. 3, 4, 5. That's level 1. We're moving slow, not letting gravity take over that lowering portion as well. For our second set, if that was hard with the leg bent, then you can keep the leg bent. If you want to try a little bit more, extend the leg. I like to do a nice pointed toe, lift and lower. So we don't want the leg coming behind us. You can have the leg straight out to the side or a little bit in front. And let's go for 5 of those. We won't count that first one. This is 1, 2, slow lower, 3, 4, 5. Lower it down. Sitting back, you'll feel that the other side also has to work to stabilize you as you're lifting up that working leg. We'll take a little bit of a breather before we switch sides, just to let those muscles rest a little bit. Let's get set up. First round, we're doing with a bent leg. Lift for 1, move slow. 2, 3, 4, and 5. lower it down, take a little break, stay where you are if you're doing your second set like that, or extend the leg if you're progressing to level 2 with me. But everyone, let's go again for 5 reps. Lift for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower it down, sit back. We're gonna do a bonus round, just for fun, each side. Take your little breather. Come back to tabletop. You can do this with bent leg or straight leg. Obviously straight leg is harder, but now we're just gonna do an isometric hold. So everyone lift the leg up. Let's hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly, slowly, slowly lower it down. Quick 1 deep round of breath before the other side. Get set up. Lift, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower. If anything cramped up, that's fine. If you had to come out of it, then so be it. But give yourself a little massage if you found you were cramping up at all. Next strengthening exercise we're going to do. Actually, I think we're only going to do one more. And we're coming back into our straddle stretch. But we're not going to come as deep into our straddle. It doesn't have to be crazy narrow, just a little bit. Not your widest straddle. We're going to be doing straddle good mornings to work on the strength range within this. Couple options with the arms. The lower down your arms are, the easier it is. The higher up they are, the harder it is. So to make this the most easy, hands in front of you to help support you on the lower and the lift. Hands on your hips makes it a little bit harder, but still kind of manageable. You can even extend your arms out to the side. I find that's a little bit of support on the legs. Harder yet is hands by ears, and the hardest is arms overhead, which is very hard. I'm probably gonna do hands on hips so that I can still talk through it. Try a couple, and then we're going to do, I don't know, 5 to 10 reps. We'll see. Decide what you're gonna do and get set up. Here we go. And cow shape here as well. So if you need to elevate the hips, make sure you're doing that. Okay, now we're going for real. Leading with the chest. Lower and lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 8 of these. 6, 7, 8. Come out of it. Wiggle the legs in. Just a little bit, and just take a little breather because we do have another set of this as well. All right, get set up. Maybe you challenge yourself more. Maybe you just do the first couple reps with a more challenging arm variation, and then you bring your hands down. Just do something to challenge yourselves. I'll do a couple with my hands up here and then lower them down. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I did fib, we were doing one more strength exercise that I forgot I wanted to do. So bring the legs together. And we're gonna come to standing for this next one. We're gonna be doing a horse stance. So kind of similar to like a goddess pose if you're more used to yogic terms. So bring your feet wide, wide, wide. For this, we really want the knees wide. So toes are turned out, and then you're trying to track the knees more towards the baby toes, because that's just gonna force you to splay the knees out, engage the glute med and the glute min even more. Putting your hands here takes some weight off your legs, so it makes it a little bit easier, but try to keep the chest upright to make it harder. Take your hands out of the mix. See how long you can hold it, my goodness. You can challenge yourself by doing no hands and then do the rest of the time with hands. Just keep thinking of pulling your knees out. And straighten the legs. You can turn the toes in just to let everything breathe for a moment before we get into our second set. Deep breath. Recover. Turn the toes out. Get set up. Now, if you did it all with hands last time, challenge yourself and do it without hands, even just for a moment. Pull the knees out. Bring your hands to the knees if you need support for the final portion of this hold. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come out of it. Slowly, mostly because it's hard. And then heel toe the feet together. And now we're going to grab our blocks because we're going to discuss kind of the biomechanics of our side split first. And then we're going to start playing around with some holds. So that's what we're finishing up with. So the first thing is with the side splits, when the legs are completely out to the side, the issue that people run into and why they think they can't do a side split and why it's impossible is because your femur bone will kind of run into your hip bone if you stay completely upright with the feet to the side. So you physically just cannot go. Everyone's hips and bones are differently shaped, so some people can come deeper like this without that bone on bone impingement. To get further into this, once your bones collide, because bones are not malleable and you just physically can't get any further, what you have to do is either externally rotate your legs so your toes and knees are facing out and up, or what you can do, I personally like doing it this way because I like practicing this with my toes facing forward, is you can bring your torso a bit more forward. And again, just like I was talking about, bringing that cow shape into your spine. So anterior pelvic tilt, picture your pelvis like a bowl. Right now the bowl is more upright and this is where the bone on bone is happening. To work around that, you're going to tilt the bowl of your pelvis forward. So think about that sexy bum. You might feel ridiculous, but we're arching through the back. And then we're removing that bone on bone, making it a little more optimal to come deeper. So use blocks here. This is where blocks are really handy. It can feel nice to lean all the way forward, but to optimally practice this, try to keep the chest more upright and just really, really arch through the spine. There's the 3 levels here, so work at the tallest level. Then lower it down, see if you can come a little bit wider with the feet. Lower down to the lowest level. See if you can come even wider yet. Maybe you can move your blocks off to the side. And if you come into more of a triangle side split, that's fine to start with. So my hips are a little bit behind where my ankles are, so it's not a perfect straight line. I'm not at a point of a perfect straight line, so this is the kind of appropriate next progression while working our way towards a more straight side split. But if you can come all the way down, feels really intense. I don't think I'm feeling up to taking my hands off. There's just a bit of weight on my hands, but I think I'm gonna stay right here. So just breathe into it. Let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now coming out of this again, don't fling, don't fall. If you're a little bit higher up, maybe you gently push yourself. If you're lower down, maybe you can just roll right out of it. And really slowly bring the legs back together. Really, really gentle. We're gonna do one more set of that in the exact same. Start up high. Make sure our spine, our pelvis are in proper alignment to facilitate a deeper side stretch, side split, and then come to our lowest point and hold it. Just finishing up a little break here. Whew. All right, grab your blocks, Get them set up. Come back to standing. And just notice like the feeling too. Keep your toes straight ahead. Try to keep your pelvis neutral, and you'll feel it feels uncomfortable, and you'll feel that it feels uncomfortable. Like I feel a bit of pinching here, and that's where it's saying the biomechanics of what I'm doing are not right. I'm going to do this next, so actually turning to the side so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. You can try this with shoes as well, because you might have a little bit more grip. You might feel a little bit more control, because it can feel a little bit vulnerable. If you're pretty flexible and you want more of a challenge, you can try this on a slidey floor with socks and just using your hands to support, but then having the feet slide out can kind of be nice to get a little bit deeper into this. So a lot of options to make it your own and play around with it as well. So now I'm coming into this cow shape spine, tilting the pelvis forward, keeping the chest up high, using my blocks to come a little bit deeper. Working my way into this, coming down to that second height setting, coming a little bit deeper, lowering to that third setting, never rushing into this. You can see my hips are starting to come back a little bit. Try to slide the feet a little bit wider. Let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe you're gently pushing yourself up to get out of it, or just rolling back like I did. Really, really slowly bring everything back together. I find that's one of the most intense stretches for sure. Let's move our blocks off to the side. And to close out, we're just going to come to a seated position of our choice. You can close out your eyes or soften your gaze down on the floor or mat about 2 or 3 feet in front of you. And just notice how your legs feel. Notice how your hips feel. They might be a little bit sore and achy from that in some places. They might feel really open in some places, but free from judgment. Just observing how we feel. Slowing the breath down. We weren't doing anything profoundly strenuous there, but it can really elevate the heart rate or the breathing rate, because it is taxing on the body to push it to those limits. Slowing, calming everything down even more. Relaxing the face, especially the temples, the jaw. Relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Let's take 3 final breaths together. Let's inhale through the nose. Lungs should be completely full, and then exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Last one, inhale. At the top, take in one more sip of air. Exhale. Bring the hands through to heart center, maybe pushing the thumbs against the chest, feeling the heart beating. Taking a moment of gratitude for where you are in your practice. Take a moment of gratitude for yourself and being kind and patient with yourself while also challenging yourself where need be. I thank you for joining me. And in closing, we say, Namaste.